Down in Atlanta where rhythm drums strong, riders unite after a whole year gone. Heritage and history blended so sweet, a family reunion beat by beat.
What's up, everyone? It's welcome to the second year of Black Writers Weekend. It's been an amazing week so far, and I get the pleasure of speaking to some really amazing people, authors, storytellers, creatives, and I'm here with Dawn, Charleston-Green. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Walter. Thank you.
Awesome. So what brought you out here?
So I had heard about Black Writers Weekend for a couple of years. I have been like in the blogging space for a while, and then came over to the author space. And so I started, seeing correspondence, seeing events going on, but it just never coordinated in my schedule. Part of my writing, I do children's books and women's devotionals, and so summer times are really usually busy for me in that space, and so my weekends are always conflicted. And so this year I was lucky enough to be chosen to be one of the speakers, so that was awesome. And so I loved it. I loved the culture, the community. Yeah.
Love it.
So
Welcome. Glad you experienced it. I think one thing I've just loved about it, I think for 4 years maybe, and just like I love the community feel, right? You have the speakers, people who've been doing it, but they're right here just ready to share. It's no hierarchy. It's just like we're all here looking to grow and learn together.
Absolutely, and I could feel that.
Do you feel it?
Yes, absolutely.
It's in the air, y'all. So, very interesting. You were working as a blogger and then made a pivot to being an author, or just started doing it as well?
Yeah, so my bachelor's degree is in English with an emphasis in writing, but I went to the military, so my path has not been straight. And so I kind of went through a life change where it led me back to writing, just processing through just dealing with certain life's issues. And so I started writing. I started a platform called Dawn of a New Day 365. Of course, my name is Dawn, but it
That's
was
wonderful, by the way.
right. And so Dawn of a New Day 365. And so it really started from this dawn being in a dark place for a minute, and for me really understanding what dawn means. And so the definition of dawn is like the first glimpse of light after the darkest of night. Right.
Yeah.
And so when I came into my dawn, which is the yellow, then I truly understood, what dawning means. And so I want to be in that space 365 days a year. So thus Dawn of a New Day 365. And so I started a platform on Facebook for women. It's a movement for women journeying through everyday life. I say the good, the bad, the ugly, and the unexpected. Overcoming with truth and transparency to lead to transformation. And so that's where the blogging started. I just kind of started dealing with just, my process of, life situations, whether it be marriage or parenting or grief, or like with women, whether it be infertility or miscarriages, those type of things. And so as I started the conversation, my audience started saying like, "Oh, you need to put all this into a book. You need to put all this into a book." And so I started doing women's devotionals from there. And actually, it was a blog that I wrote called "Bloom Wherever You Grow, Dandelion." Really taking like the concept of like if you look at weed killer, the picture on it is always a dandelion, right? But it has so many medicinal purposes, right? But we kill it. And so I was drawn to, long story short, during the pandemic, my daughter, of course, was at home. We were homeschooling our children, blessed us all that we survived, right? But my daughter had a lesson on dandelions. And when I just started seeing just like, just all their benefits that they had, and just their growth process, and how so often, people want to pluck them up and kill them, even though they bring so much benefit to everything that's around it. And so I started thinking about women, Black women in particular, how sometimes we can be in spaces where we may not be appreciated, right? But we still have to show up, anyway. And so it was after that blog that I had a conversation with my daughter. I have a biological son and an adopted daughter, and she has just dealt with sometimes belonging and fitting in. And so one day she was just having a complete meltdown, and we were having a conversation right after that blog. And so I started sharing with her that she was our family's dandelion, that she doesn't need permission to grow. Dandelions can grow in an open field, they can grow up out of the concrete. They just need a crack of possibility. And so when they grow into that puffball we so often associate them with, and we tell kids, oh, blow it and make a wish, and I guess you could make a wish, but what you're actually doing is you're blowing its seeds. And so I told her she just stays rooted with us long enough. We want to make sure that her seeds go further than where she started. And so then that became my children's book, Hey Dandelion.
Man, I love that story. There's something special about taking, whether it's like creating something for your imagination or taking real life lesson and turning it into something that others could benefit from. And you mentioned like other people encourage you to turn different things into a book, but what was a moment when you realized that you really are a creator and can write these books?
I think it was with Hey Dandelion. So the devotional, so my first devotional was the 5-day morning coffee devotional. Coffee is an acronym. I play off everything with names and colors. So what do people drink at dawn? Yes, and so, but coffee stands for Chicks of Faith, Focused, Encouraged, and Empowered. And so the whole premise behind it is, you know, we turn to coffee often for our energy and just to start our day, but that will wane after a while. But if we are, you know, focused in our faith, then that lasts longer. And so thus coffee, Chicks of Faith. So that did well. And then it kind of, you know, the buzz on a book is usually like, you know, 3 months, you know. And so I was trying to, you know, remarket it, you know, launch and do some different things again. Didn't really get a lot of callbacks at the time, but it's all in divine timing, right? So after the blog, I decided I was going to spin it and do the children's book. And so when that came to light, it just took off, like from schools, from therapists, from the adoption community, foster community. It just really took off. And then it brought the devotion with it. So I started getting opportunities to do school visits, to do book tours and things with Hey Dandelion, and then it just kind of went from there.
That's beautiful. Yeah. An incredible journey. So how long has it been since you went from just doing blogging to
It happened really quick. So I say that. So I went through that transition I was talking about with my darkness in 2019. And so that was just right at the beginning of the pandemic. So I was fasting, I was praying, started the platform Dawn of a New Day in 2020. And so then 2021 was when I came into the art space. It happened really, really quickly. Yeah. Man,
I'm sure in that moment it didn't feel super quick, but kind of looking back, or did it actually?
It did. Like every time, even like being here now, any space that I'm in now, I'm just like, wow, this happened really quickly. And I say it from my perspective because now I haven't shared, and I don't necessarily lead with it, but I'm a 16-time award-winning author.
16-time award-winning, that's right.
And so actually my writing coach or a book publishing coach was who encouraged me to go into coaching myself and doing book strategies. She mostly had done it just from the, hey, this is the process for publishing and, you know, knowing all the concepts. But she said, Dawn, you're living in that space. You are living as an author. Like, you need to, you know, share with people about how do they go into applying for awards? How do they get to these book tours? How do they get to these opportunities? Because some people just don't know. You know, you just don't know. And so I was just blessed to be able to be in those spaces, be able to process it. I'm also, I have a background as a teacher, and it's just like something I was naturally gifted in. So I have a way of being able to share information with people that they can process. And so it's just been beneficial. So I have, of the authors I've worked with, 8 of them are award-winning authors as well.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Professional, let's see, award-winning. All right, so just have one last question for you. Well, first of all, where can everyone follow you and learn more about all the things that you're doing?
Dawn of a New Day 365. Yes, so my personal Facebook is Dawn Charleston-Green, but everything else is Dawn of a New Day 365. Yes.
And what would be for any writer, creative storyteller who's feeling stuck, maybe like right before their own dawn, what would be your best advice for them?
Yesterday, I did the class on executing a successful book launch, and I talked about shooting your shot. And so that's what I would say, shoot your shot. Like, if you've gotten a vision to go into it, don't let anything scale you back. I'll share just a quick message real quick. I was getting ready to go to the Congressional Black Caucus's Author Showcase one year, had been invited to that, and right before, I just was like, I can't go. Like, these other authors have been doing this for years and everything, and so I thought about When I was in the Army, I would be chosen to go and represent the Army for something. And then working in child advocacy, I would, represent them across the state. And I was like, now when I need to represent myself, I'm scared. And so I just prayed and just asked God to give me the courage for it. So that's what I would share with people, just to hone into their faith, and ask for the courage. I share with people, like when we talk about writer's block, people always ask me, well, how do you deal with writer's block? Write through the block. Write through the block, so write about what's blocking it, because normally it's something that you still need to process through. Write about it so that you can free that space to continue. Yeah.
I could tell you're a teacher. You're dropping gems in such a digestible way, so easy to understand.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll see you back for the weekend. This was incredible. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Down in Atlanta where rhythm drums strong, riders unite after a whole year gone. Heritage and history blended so sweet, a family reunion beat by beat. Ink on the page, hearts in a dance, past meets the future at every chance. Creativity flows like a beat so true, a family reunion, this joy is for you. Good vibes all rise and change on the way.